Sometimes a car buying decision comes down to one thing: money. Today we have a Lexus and a Hyundai. Now one of these comes from a legacy luxury automaker and the other comes from a company that's trying its best to impersonate one. There's 10 grand that separates these two family SUVs and I'm here to answer one question. Is it worth it? This is why the TX exists. Now Lexus was already good at making SUVs. They've had the RX for a million years and they have sold 1 trillion of them. But the RX has always had a problem. Too small. They even tried adding a third row one time, but that did not go very well, especially if you had legs. So the TX came in to save the day. Seating for up to 7 people and space for all your things in the back. For a company that is known for building rock solid interiors, there's some parts in here that feel more questionable than they should. Like this, for example. There's no wood, no metallic trim, just this material that kind of feels like it's from an arts and crafts store. So maybe at the risk of sounding like an old man, I remember a Lexus from back in the day. It was filled with shiny wood and all this different trim. It felt special and cool. This is just like they got every piece of black plastic in America and threw it all over the car. And that's really the problem I have with the TX. It's just way too similar to the Toyota Grand Highlander. Space is what the TX does best. But this is a luxury SUV, and Lexus spent a little bit too much time making it practical, not enough time making it nice. Ooh, massaging front seats. Now that is luxury. The difference with the Palisade is that they took the time to put in details that make it feel luxurious. Look, there's pinstriping here on this trim piece. There's stitching in the doors. The speaker grills are even metal, and if not, then they're convincing enough anyway that it doesn't matter. This particular car is the Night Edition, which is the most expensive Palisade you can buy, but even the regular calligraphy model comes with quilted leather. I think I like that a little bit more than whatever this suede is going on. Not everything in here is perfect though. This, for example, is Hyundai's old infotainment setup. That means no wireless Apple CarPlay, no wireless Android Auto. You're still running USB-A for the data connection. That's super old at this point. And in general, it's just a little bit slower than it should be. The Palisade second row is just nicer than the TX's, plain and simple. You get heated and ventilated seats back here. That's an extra option that you have to pay for on the TX, which makes it even more expensive. Hyundai's really good about passenger space. You can slide the seats forward and backward, you can recline, get nice and comfortable. Not just a personal bonus, I think they're so good at finding creative places that you can stick your phone, like right here, for example. Now the third rows are actually pretty comparable between the two cars when it comes to passenger space. They also both have a power reclining function, but the Palisade has 3-stage heating, even in the third row. That means even your kids that you don't like get to ride in comfort. So much like the Lexus TX, the Palisade also has a power folding third row, just takes one button. But this is even better, because you can also drop the second row with one press of a button. And that's an option that at least on that particular TX, you can't get. We're talking about a Toyota Lexus product and something from Korea. And that means some of you are gonna get in the fast lane and go straight to the comments and tell me all about reliability. So I'll just do the work for you. Hyundai has gone through some pretty notorious reliability issues when it comes to their turbocharged engines and their dual clutch transmissions. Luckily, the Palisade doesn't have either of those two things. That said, since it's been on sale in 2019, it has been recalled 10 times, including the really big one where they said you couldn't park it in your garage because it might catch your house on fire. Not great. The good news is that their 10-year powertrain warranty is still the best in the game, so that should offer some reassurance. On the other hand, the TX is still very new to the game, so there's nothing to report here when it comes to recalls. However, this uses the exact same turbocharged 2.4-liter 4-cylinder as found in other Lexuses like the NX350, and that car has been bulletproof in the few years that it's been on sale. For all of those reasons, we're gonna give the TX the win in this round. In true Lexus fashion, they will sell you this car in 3 different forms. This one is the base model, the TX 350. Then there's a hybrid and also a plug-in hybrid form. And like I said earlier, this is using a 4-cylinder engine, it's making 275 horsepower. Now in a smaller SUV like the NX, that does the job just fine, but the TX is big. When I'm driving it by myself, you can tell that there's enough power. But if this is full of adults or maybe some really large children, you're gonna feel that the engine's a bit strained. The hybrid version of the TX makes 366 horsepower, which is quite a bit more than this one. That car also gets adaptive suspension, which this one does not. Having driven both, I can tell you the ride quality is worse in this. It just doesn't iron out the bumps like you'd expect in a luxury SUV, and the 22-inch wheels don't help on that front either. To keep a long story short, the TX 350 just doesn't blow me away for the money that you're paying. But in the Palisade, things are much better, almost right off the bat. 6 cylinders, 291 horsepower, so up just a bit on the TX. This is a situation where you can feel it almost instantly. Good amount of pickup there. Now, it's noisy only when you punch it. Listen to this real quick. But in everyday driving, when you drive like a normal person, just stoplight to stoplight, it's calm, it's controlled. Something that I would expect from a luxury SUV. Ride quality's better in the Hyundai too. I've been picking my potholes to try to hit them on purpose, and this hasn't been bent out of shape not one time. If I had to gripe about something, it's that the transmission seems to be shifting a lot, especially when you need some extra power to get going. But apart from that, this is great. This is one of those moments where I'm looking down at a Hyundai badge and I don't think luxury, but then I look around me and I'm experiencing what I am from behind the wheel. They're pulling this off pretty damn well. And frankly, a little bit better than the Lexus. Driving these two back to back reminds me a lot of the dining scene in LA. Sometimes it's nice to go to a fancy restaurant when you know you're getting the right experience to go along with it. This is the problem I have with this particular Lexus TX. It's a luxury SUV that doesn't make you feel like you're getting enough for your money. It's down on power, the interior just isn't that great. We like the hybrid versions of the TX a lot more, but those are in a different price category altogether. So going back to the initial question, is it worth it? Well, looking at these two cars, no, it's not. The Palisade offers pretty much everything we'd like, and it's at the right price. But which one would you have? Let us know in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching. I should do it right this time. That'd be helpful. Look, wiener dog. It's a happy dog. I like. You watch our race, the cars go like you.